everybody. Welcome to the Bible study. Today we are going to dive into John, which he's the apostle of Jesus and wrote these chapters. So we are going to go in chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. And actually the title of this class is Jesus' first miracle. But here's title is Jesus changes water into wine. All right, so let's go for it. And this is the New International Version. That's my Bible. And I'm going to read from it. Let's see if the lights will go a little bit deeper in here. There you go. We go step by step, like with each line. On the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. What is the third day? So let's study that. So what happened before that makes this to be the third day? So third day, we look into back here, is when Jesus gets baptized and the Holy Spirit as a dove comes, and John knows that actually is Jesus is the Son of God. And after that, John's disciples comes and follow Jesus, and Jesus calls also in here, calls Philip and Nathaniel, it calls Peter, and then that's why it makes this the third day. And then he's at the wedding and with his family. And Jewish wedding, I'm not sure this time, but that time it took about 7 days. So imagine preparation, you gotta prepare that much, you have to save and get that much drinks from both sides, from the bride and the groom. And then usually they drank wine. Now, Jesus' mother was there. A little bit higher. Okay. And Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. So was his mom, his family, doesn't say the rest of the family, but his mom for sure was. When the wine, so we are in verse 3, when the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, they have no more wine. So get to the attention of Jesus that I'm not sure which day was, maybe they just started and all of a sudden there was no wine. So without wine, people, what kind of wedding will be, and this time you can go without, but that time it had to be wine. That was in the culture. And in verse 4, it says, woman, why do you involve me? Jesus replied, my hour has not yet come. I look in the Passionate Translation. I have my Kindle, and it says, my dear one. It sounds very harsh, woman, in this translation. I'm not sure other ones, but it sounds very harsh, like talks to his mother like woman. Why do you involve me? In other translations, it says, my dear one. My hour to unveil my power did not come yet. So he's telling very gentle, very nice. That's more like a translation they get from the source, much deeper source. And I like that translation. But I'm using the Bible right now, this Bible. So he knows, so he was every step that he's supposed to do, get baptized with water, and it says they will see the Holy Spirit. So John the Baptist saw the Holy Spirit, and now should be performing miracles right after. But he stated that his hour didn't come yet. So, but his mom knows who he is. He knows that he can perform miracles anytime. He is the Son of God after all. So verse 5, my mother said to the servants, do whatever he tells you. Verse 6, so the servants were, following whenever Jesus will tell them to do. Nearby stood, so we are in verse 6, nearby stood stone water jars, the kind used by the Jewish for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, fill the jars with water. So they filled them up to the brim, like all the way to the top. Then he, like verse 8, then he told them, now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet. Which there was entitled somebody who, the master of the banquet, the one who's preparing all these, who pretty much pays for these, for the wedding, the master who's dealing with all these, and where are we? Master of the banquet, they did so. So in verse 9, I know it's kind of in the middle here. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He didn't realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. The servants knew. They put water, now all of a sudden there's something else, which is, is a miracle. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said in verse 10, everyone brings out the choice wine first, then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink, because they can distinguish from what is good, what is bad, because then at that point they have so much wine, when they give the cheapest wine, they can make the difference. I know, that's kind of funny. Sorry. But I guess exactly what it says. They bring the cheapest wine after the guests have had too much to drink, but you have saved the best till now. So we don't know how many days they've been in the wedding yet, because it says there's 7 days. Imagine that you are maybe in the middle of it. There's like, where you're going to buy wine, how you're going to get it. I'm not sure if they have enough money to purchase, and who's going to give their own wine that was probably kept just for the wedding. So usually they give the best wine first when they come, and as the days goes, whenever is the cheapest, that they're not as good, they give it to the end of it, as people still they're still celebrating. Verse 11, what Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. Wow. They start believing who he is actually. He's calling his disciples out, and they came actually follow him at this specific wedding. They were together. And Jewish, they can celebrate. They dance like a hora. If you've never been to a Jewish festivity, like a festival, like a Jewish festivals, like in the fall, wow, they celebrate you with food, not with wine. They don't do that anymore here. I'm not sure in Israel if they do with wine, but here they don't. They make sure that people are going home safe, and also creates addiction. So we don't do that here. But when it comes to the celebration, they have the best music you ever heard. Such a good music, and they dance hora, like joined together with more like a Greek kind of type. that they go around is a celebration, and Jesus was a part of it. I'm just so excited just saying this. So, and then his disciple believed him. Verse 12, the last one. After this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and brothers and his disciples. There they stayed for a few days. So, this is Jesus. This was Jesus' first miracle, I would say. Making the water in wine. I never heard anywhere. That's why it makes him so unique. I hear and I heard so many miracles all over in all my years, but I never heard anybody making from the water wine. That's why he's the Lord of Lords. That's why his name is Jesus. I never heard anybody making from water wine yet. It probably might be in the future, but so far I never heard. So that makes him so unique. What was your first miracle, if you had any at all? So I can tell what I've seen a first miracle. I was when I was a teenager, my mom was very, very sick. That was back in Romania. We just came out from the communist, and I think we're still being in communist. Was from probably from the we weren't still in communist. I was in grade 12. So, and my mom was very, very sick, and it was at my sister's wedding. She ended up being paralyzed. She was in comatose, and we called the doctor home. He came and said that she will surely die. May not live too long before she will die, and prepare for that. And if not, by any chance will not die, she'll be paralyzed for life. So my mom was laying in the bed, and something came into my mind. I say that, you know what? I try my chances, so I pray. And I say, if there is a real God out there, anywhere, any God, whenever his name is, if he comes down and heals my mom, then I help my mom to get baptized, to come to him. And also I give myself to him as well. So that was I say, as a teenager, I'm telling you. And you cannot believe it. It wasn't too long after that. It wasn't the same week, maybe a couple of days. I was in the same room with my mom. My mom is still comatose. And all of a sudden, my mom stood up on her feet and walked. I had no words. I was like speechless. And that was the first miracle I've seen. And she did walk after that. She had a little bit on one side. She couldn't grasp completely. She has some, a little bit. It's more like a mini stroke. Like she was saying that she couldn't hold completely a cup or something, but she could use the hand, and the leg was on the same side. I can't remember, like was right or left, and but she was walking. So as I say to God, she did get baptized. When I saw her coming out from the water, she was so shiny, her eyes so shiny, and God gave her 4 more years to live. As for me, I say, oh, I will come to you, God. I know I saw the miracle, all that. I'll come to you when I be maybe 80 years old. When I be old enough, I'll come to you. And, I will tell you right now, my mom didn't make it to 80 years old. She died in her 40, she was 42 when she died. You may not even make it to 80. You don't know how long life you have on this earth. Don't wait. I waited maybe too long, but still, it was in Romania at that time. After in those days, that the communists, in those 4 years, the communist was lifted, and was the open church, like a Christian church, that beside the Orthodox that we had that time. And so she got baptized, but before you couldn't, because and even though with that mentality we were like so brainwashed, we called is a sect. You can't have a sect. It's like a sectant. You are a sectant now, and all these bad things that all we knew, bad things that put the communists in our head, that Christians are bad people, and was the opposite. So years after that, I did make the commitment after like being in I went in such a bad, everything turned from the bad to the worse in my life. Some years after that, after I promised God, few years after that, went from the bad to worse, till I decided to make the step. And I would say maybe 6 years after that, 7 years after that, I say, I don't care whoever say what, I'm going to give myself to God. And I never turn around and felt sorry about it. God doesn't want you to come when you are 8 years old. I promise you. You have so much to give to others, so much to help others. God want to use you in His for His kingdom. You have so much to give. You probably don't know yet, but God will reveal it to you. So my message to you is, this was my first miracle that I've seen. But I say, for you, don't wait too long to come to God. He's waiting on you. All right. Thank you for watching. You guys, you have a blessed day.